I would not complain because complaining would not correct it. What I would do is to encourage in those people who would be likely to be involved in breaking the covenant, to let them know that this covenant must not, and should not, and cannot be broken. Therefore, we must stop fooling ourselves and be seeking to get the greater part of this music in our children's minds and hearts and souls and bodies, so that they too can improvise on what is good.
Rastafarianism, a belief that reggae music has carried inside of its enticing rhythm and hypnotizing sound, has many representatives. Towering over his peers, Bob Marley and Peter Tosh, there was an older brother of the group who dedicated his life to his beliefs. The harmony and heartbeat of the Wailers, and the Rastafarian ambassador to the world. Let's talk about Bunny Wailer. Neville O'Reilly Livingston was born on April 10, 1947. He would be known by many names, mostly Bunny Wailer, Bunny Livingston, and Job E. Bunny would spend his earliest years in the village of 9 Mile, in St. Ann Parish of Jamaica. Bob Marley and Bunny Wailer grew up together. Bob, then going by his middle name, Nesta, was raised by his mother, Sindala Booker, and Bunny by his father, Thaddeus Livingston. Thaddeus had many children, somewhere around 13, and would spend much of his time working building houses, working in churches, working as a shop owner, and finding different ways to earn a living. Sindala and Thaddeus would actually have a daughter together, Pearl Livingston.
You know, as my father and his mom were having an affair that turned out to be a daughter called Pearl, which we both share as sisters. So a lot of people might not know that the Wailers are not just only the Wailers as members being associated, but the Wailers are now bloodline, as Peter has also gotten my first sister, Shirley, pregnant, which is Andrew Tosh. So Andrew is my nephew, and all of Peter's sons and daughters calls me uncle, as well as Robert children.
Andrew Tosh. This would be an even deeper league between the three: Bunny, Peter, and Bob. At the age of 7, Bunny used to make guitars out of bramble and electrical wire. As a child, he would basically find pieces of wood, cut up electrical wire from machinery or from whatever was around, use it to assemble a guitar, and he would play. This was a normal thing for children in the countryside. If you don't have a lot to do, you find something to do. Bunny also began writing music at this young age. The very first song Bunny wanted to present, Pass It On, would be a missed opportunity. Bunny had arranged an appointment with Leslie Kong, who was a local producer in Jamaica at that time. However, Bunny got held up at school, and he would end up missing this audition. Leslie Kong, best being known for recording the early works of Jimmy Cliff, helping to get his career started, and recording some of Bob Marley's earliest singles, such as One Cup of Coffee. Bunny would eventually record this song, and it actually comes out on Burning, which is upon missing his audition, but still interested in playing music. Bob Marley would actually suggest that he and Bunny form a group. Soon, Bunny brought in a local guitarist who he knew would be able to help with the music and sing. And that's how Peter Tosh, Bob Marley, and Bunny Wailer started the Wailing Wailers. The group would enlist the help of Joe Higgs, who would spend months training the trio and taking him under his wing. They would go to local prominent figures around Jamaica and perform. And when they got the okay from them, that means they were ready. And they got the okay from a lot of people before they finally went into audition. Bunny Wailer's earliest contribution to the Wailers was in the form of vocal harmonies. You can hear it in so many of their early recordings. You can hear Bunny especially harmonizing with the group and making sure they sound like something extra. Bunny would often leave the lead vocal work to Bob and Peter, though he did take a number of his own songs, such as Who Feels It Knows It and Sunday Morning, in the early Wailer days. This was especially true around 1966, when Bob Marley would go with his mother to Delaware in the United States to look for work for a short period of time. Bunny was always focused on percussion as well. The sound and the heartbeat of the Wailers' music came down to a lot of those little extra touches Bunny would add in, as well as the harmonization he worked through the group.
That is something that was engrafted in me to the level that at a very tender age of, say, 4 years of age, I was able to play the kumina drums, you know, the liturgical drums that really brought the spirits up for the church to have the vibrancy that those revival churches do have. And at the age of 4, I mastered playing that drum, the rattler drum, to make sure that that spirit comes in when I play the drum.
In 1967, Bunny Wailer would actually be arrested, and he would serve 14 months, a year and 2 months, in the Jamaican prison system. Bunny was arrested for cannabis possession. You know, cannabis was illegal in Jamaica at that time. It's actually still illegal today. And cannabis being the Rasta man's crime. It's something that you can almost always bust. Unfortunately, people with that Rasta image on in Jamaica. Bunny was a victim. Bob Marley and Peter Tosh also got arrested around this time for different reasons, but none of them served as long as Bunny did. Once released, Bunny would actually find out that his case was dismissed and he was imprisoned under no charges. They had nothing formally written out for him. He served his full sentence without an official charge. This didn't deter Bunny's love of cannabis, by the way. He would continue smoking and partaking of herb and encouraging audience members, friends, peers, as it's a reflective state of mind. By 1973, Bunny, Peter, and Bob were all working on their own labels. Bob was working with Tough Gong, Peter with HIM Intel Diplo, and Bunny with Solomonic. Bunny began cutting his own singles around this time. Bunny would also be departing from his work with Bob Marley and the Wailers after disagreeing with their producer, Chris Blackwell. Regarding the direction Blackwell wanted to take the band, Bunny felt it was against his Rastafarian beliefs to follow along with Blackwell's plans to go with his ideas for the band. Both Peter Tosh and Bob Marley began touring outside of Jamaica more and more. Though Peter was doing this solo as well, he also left the Wailers around this time due to different disagreements with Chris Blackwell. Bunny Wailer, however, had a connection to the land, its climate, and its people, and would continue his musical journey from home. Bunny wasn't interested in doing another tour, especially after their previous tour in England, where he described the countryside to not be as welcoming as his home in Jamaica. The weather, the people, everything. In 1976, Bunny would release Blackheart Man. This is one of the best reggae albums that came out of this period and is possibly one of the best reggae albums to date. It originally premiered on September 8th, 1976, and is still regarded as a high point in reggae music. Each song speaks towards a religious lesson and Rastafarian values. The intro track, Blackheart Man, speaks of an old folk tale where parents would often tell their children to beware of the Blackheart Man, who would entice the children away from their home and steal their hearts. Fighting Against Conviction is a song Bunny wrote specifically about his time in prison and the general unfairness of the prison system. It talks about the trap society has placed on the poor that often cause them to arrive at the same fate. Incarcerated for unjust crimes. Can't grow no crops in this concrete jungle. A situation like this is getting too tough to handle. Big Tree talks about a place of rest and relaxation, much like the Bible talks about the fig tree being a place of resolve, a place of relaxation, a place to be at peace. Rastaman dives into biblical figures and their lessons. Reincarnated Soul speaks towards the Rastafarian belief in reincarnation and how important it can be to connect with your roots. Armageddon is speaking towards the conflict of good and evil. You know, typical Armageddon. And finally, this train takes inspiration from an old gospel song, talking about the train to the promised land. The album features several musicians from the Wailers, including both Bob Marley and Peter Tosh, as well as other prominent Jamaican musicians. Bob Marley died in 1981, and in honor of his life, the Youth Consciousness Show of 1982. At this show, we saw performances from Bunny Wailer, Peter Tosh, Jimmy Cliff, and the I3s, especially Judy Mowatt. The artists would go and perform No Woman No Cry in Bob Marley's memory together on stage. Bunny Wailer continued making music for years, with a couple notable songs and standout achievements. For example, Electro Boogie, performed by Marcia Griffiths, was a Bunny Wailer composition. It would go on to inspire the Electric Slide. Bunny Wailer also won a Grammy Award for Best Reggae Album on 3 separate occasions. Once in 1991 for Time Will Tell, a tribute to Bob Marley, once in 1995 for Crucial Roots Classics, and once again for 1997 Hall of Fame, a tribute to Bob Marley's 50th anniversary. In 2016, Bunny would earn the Order of Jamaica, the 5th highest honor Jamaica gave out, and in 2018, he would earn the Order of Merit, the 4th highest honor. On October of 2018, Bunny would suffer a stroke, which would affect Bunny's ability to speak. Bunny would suffer another stroke in July of 2020 and eventually passed away on March 2nd, 2021, at the age of 73. I'm going to leave you with some quick words from Bunny himself about death, though. Always remember that death is a very subjective thing, especially for Rastafarians.
I have visions of myself and Robert and Peter performing right now. So it's like, although we did perform physically, and those are memories to cherish, I am still having new experiences of my peers in another dimension that we perform live on stage for the people of that dimension, which says to me that the Wailers, the best of the Wailers, are yet to come.
With Bunny's passing, a generation of musical greatness and a connection to the people is left to memory. It is on all of our shoulders to continue speaking about Bunny Wailer, Peter Tosh, and Bob Marley. Thank you folks for joining me. I hope you have a great day. My name is Richard Durazo. If you enjoyed this video, leave a comment, press like, be sure to subscribe, all those good things. If you'd like to see a longer extended version, be sure to check out my Patreon, or if you just want to help support me, check out my Patreon. I do a lot of different musical clips and interviews, and if YouTube strikes any of them down, I cut them out of the video, but the original will be on Patreon. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Blessings to y'all.